All right, so this is all face oil, but this is typically what I look like at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. Hi guys, I'm Kristina Rodulfo, Senior Beauty Editor at ELLE.com, and today I'm putting mattifying powders to the test. Mattifying powders are my best friend, and that's because I have a really oily face. And especially in the summer when I'm sweating and it's hot outside and I'm all greasy, it doesn't look cute. So I like to keep one in my bag at all times. There are a ton of different mattifying powders on the market. There are loose ones, there are powder ones. My personal favorites are loose ones, but they're not the easiest to use on the go. There are 3 things that I look for in a mattifying powder. 1 is that it's lightweight, 2 is that it's easy to use on the go, and 3 is that it provides a filter, IRL, for this oily situation on my face. To test the powders out today, I'm going to use a face oil on the places where I get the oiliest, so my T-zone and my chin. Then I'm going to put on the powder, give you a before and after, and see which one performs best. I'm ready! Okay. I'm applying oil on my T-zone and on my chin because that is where I get the oiliest, no matter what time of year, but especially during the summer. Oh god, I'm turning into a greasy, shiny mess, which is true to life. Having oily skin in New York City is really gross because it gets really humid here. So I just feel extra dirty when I'm walking around the streets. Like the dirt is catching onto my face. That sounds so gross, but that is exactly what it feels like. So this is all face oil, but this is really what I look like by 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. Gross. Oh. The first powder I'm going to test is Marc Jacobs Beauty Finish Line Perfecting Coconut Setting Powder. That is a lot of words. All right, dip her in. Ooh, there's a lot of fallout so far. And I'm gonna go on my T-zone. There's a little bit of a white cast, even though it's supposed to be translucent, but I might have put a ton of product on. It's actually blending in, nice. When I first put on this powder, I thought it gave me a white cast, but now that I've been blending it in a little bit, it actually looks invisible. And I am no longer oily. It's like magic. So good. I definitely think it belongs in anyone's beauty bag. I'm impressed. What do you guys think? I'm back and I'm greasy again. And up next, I'm going to try Fenty Beauty Universal Invisimatte Blotting Powder. So when this came out back in September 2017 with the launch of Fenty Beauty, everyone was really excited because Rihanna can do no wrong. And she's always glowing, never shiny. So Invisimatte comes with an applicator, but for the sake of fairness, I'm going to be using a powder brush on it. Okay. So far, this feels even lighter than the Marc Jacobs Beauty powder, and perhaps that's because it's a pressed powder as opposed to a loose powder. So now that I've applied the Fenty Beauty powder on me, I have to say that I still like loose powder better. I think it just gets into the crevices of your face a lot better because the particles are finer as opposed to packed together. But honestly, this would be a great alternative for when I'm on the go because it is a lot cleaner than using a loose powder. And the most important point, it's by Rihanna, and I will use anything Rihanna creates, let's be real. Okay, so we're on powder number 3, and I'm all oily again. And the third powder is Huda Beauty's new baking powders. And there's a bunch of colors, but I decided to go with Sugar Cookie, which is a translucent white. Already, from just putting it on my nose, I feel like I'm getting the most natural looking finish. The powder's also super fine, so I feel like a little bit goes a really long way. Okay, wow. So I know that these baking powders are technically for, well, baking, which is when you're supposed to leave a layer of the baking powder on and then dust it off at the end. But as a regular translucent mattifying powder, this is really, really good. I feel like it gives the most natural looking finish to my face. Like I feel like the texture on my skin looks like my skin. I mean, I can't stop looking at myself because it looks so good. Last but not least today, we are trying ColourPop's new No Filter Sheer Pressed Powder. It is the only one of these powders that is actually colored. I have medium dark, which matches my skin tone. Just from looking at the product on my brush, I could see that it's super sheer and light. And as I'm applying it, I feel like I kind of need a lot of it to really cover up the grease. But it's not giving me a white cast, and I think that's because the color of the powder is actually matching my skin tone. I definitely feel like I have to apply more and kind of dig into the pan a little bit more than I would with loose powders. But maybe it's because I'm applying with a powder brush as opposed to a sponge or another applicator, which I would more likely use on the go. I don't really see the color, but I think the point is that it's supposed to blend in with my actual skin tone, and it does. The oil is still somewhat coming through, but the powder cuts it so that it looks natural and flattering. Befores and afters. Final thoughts. All 4 of these powders did an incredible job at absorbing the oil that was on my face, and I really put a lot because I get really greasy. But if I had to choose favorites, I would have to say number 1 is Huda Beauty's baking powder. It was absolutely incredible. It's definitely one of the most hyped up beauty product launches that I've heard about, but it lives up to the hype. It is so good at the way it made my face look really naturally matte. Number 2 would be Fenty Beauty Invisimatte, which surprises me because, like I said, I love a loose powder, but for a pressed powder, it did a really good job at absorbing all of the shininess that I had, and it didn't leave a white cast. Number 3 would be Marc Jacobs Coconut Setting Powder. I really enjoyed using this and I thought it did a wonderful job, but I feel like there was just the slightest hint of ghost looking cast over my face. I think that might have been from applying too much product, so next time I try it, I'm definitely gonna use less, but it is very powerful. A little bit of powder goes a long way, so I gotta give it props. And last but definitely not least would be ColourPop No Filter Sheer Press Powder. I really enjoyed the fact that it comes in an array of skin tones and that I was able to find one that matches me perfectly, but I felt like it required a lot of product to get the finish that I wanted. That being said, I really liked the dewy finish that it had. So that's it for this week. Make sure to tune in next week for To The Test. And if you guys have any recommendations for products to try, services to try, new brands that I need to know about, please let me know in the comments.